Okay, pal, you want smash mouth power and efficiency? Then here's your starting lineup. Ford F-Series, #1 for 37 years straight. Talk about a dynasty, baby. Hey, it's game time, sports fans, at the Built Ford Tough Sales event.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 4th edition of the Coach Misty Wilson radio show from the lobby of First Financial Bank right here in Stephenville. I'm Kelton Weeds, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to 90.5 KTRL and tarletonsports.com/listen live, and a big thanks to our live audience here at the bank. Please help me in welcoming the first-year head coach of the Tarleton Texans, Misty Wilson. Coach, first of all, it's hardly felt like basketball season this last week with this great weather.
I know, it's like in the 80s.
Have you been able to get out of the basement office that you've got to get out and enjoy the weather a little bit?
I've got out a few times. You know, I went and had a picnic with my youngest one day for lunch. So yeah, we've enjoyed it.
Well, Coach, let's jump right into it. You're coming off a 71-56 win against Eastern New Mexico. We talked about it a little bit last night, but again, what was the big factor in that win at Eastern for you?
You know, typically we against teams that play a bunch of zone and kind of mix it up, we haven't done real well. But I think we focused that week on recognizing what defense they were going to run and calling a play. That way we could kind of get into some early offense and find the open girl, and that usually helps when they feel prepared that way.
Coach, Greyhound Arena is a place known for causing teams to shoot poorly, but you shoot 42%. Certainly Bailey Whiff going 8 of 9 from the field helps, but what else was clicking for you offensively?
Well, I think we actually did a few things differently this road trip. We went down and had a shoot around that evening and spent about an hour to hour and 15 minutes just shooting in that gym, and then we got up at 7:30 and had another walkthrough at 8 o'clock that morning. So we had the opportunity to be in their gym twice before we played them, and I think that really helped.
Coach Chris Marks talked about it during his halftime interview during the game, but there were a lot of rough turnovers throughout that game. Is that part of a learning curve for the Texans right now, or is it just one of those days where those things happen?
I think it's still just a little bit of chemistry. You know, we have a pretty deep roster, and you know, in practice you try to play kind of everybody together, but you end up with groups that haven't played before, haven't played as much together, and you're going to have those things when there's that lack of chemistry. But you just hope that you can at least get the defensive stops. If you turn it over, you can turn around and get the defensive stops, and we were able to do that.
Eastern New Mexico is they kind of remind me of some mosquitoes on a hot July night. They just won't go away, Coach. They're not 7th in the Lone Star Conference for a lack of effort, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we had stressed our players. I think the 2 or 3 games that they had played before us, they were down 12, down 22 to Angelo, and then down quite a bit to another team that they played, and they came back and they won one of them by 9, and then you know we're right there, you know, with a chance to win the other ones. So they're really good at playing from behind. They play really hard, and you have to play from start to finish.
Tori Tucker was was Eastern New Mexico's best scorer. You hold her to 7 points. Talk about the defensive effort in that game against Eastern.
We had several girls guard her. I know Carly started out on her, but probably all of our post players, except Bree, probably guarded her throughout the game. And you know, she plays hard all the time, and she's kind of an energizer bunny for them. And so we just kind of told them, you know, if we can take her out of her game and force someone else to score, then you know we're going to have a shot at this game. And but if you let her do what she wants to do, then you know it might be a struggle. So I thought they really honed in and played good defense on her.
You've seen a lot of games against Eastern New Mexico. You've won 16 consecutive games against the Zias. This series has kind of been a little bit one-sided, but talk about it a little bit between Tarleton and Eastern.
It's good. You know, they've had coaching change within the last year, and Coach Prock, you know, we knew him pretty well when he was here, kind of closer at Howard Payne, and he's actually a really good guy. I think he's going to do good things with that program. It's just going to kind of take some time. You know, any program you're trying to turn around, it's going to take time. But yeah, I mean, this is the Lone Star Conference, so it feels like, and I know our players have talked about a lot that we feel like we're everyone's rival.
Right.
You know, I mean, it doesn't matter who we're playing. It's like everybody wants to, you know, is going to bring their best and kind of get at us. And that's kind of the joy of the Lone Star Conference, is you have to come out every night ready to play, because from top to bottom, everybody's gunning for you.
You played McMurray last night. You get a big 64-37 win. against the Warhawks, and now you've won 24 straight games against McMurray. But whenever I need a serious question like the one I just asked, I always go to you. You've been here a while, but this is the second time that you've played McMurray since 1994. What, give us your general thoughts on the series and the game last night.
Since we only played them one other time, and I don't think I was there for that game. Coach Hearn was on his own on that one. They're right up the road, and right now they count as a Division II game, and that's what we were needing was some Division II games. They had some pretty good teams, even when they were D3, which they're dropping back down. They had some good teams. And they've got girls that typically play hard, and I think everybody saw that last night. Is they really play hard and they compete. They don't bow down to anybody.
You go 10 of 29 from the field in both the first half and the second half for 35% shooting. It's been a pesky monster for your offense this year, but was it something that McMurray was doing, or sometimes you just have an off game?
I think you just, you're going to have those games where the shots aren't falling, and there's going to be a lot that, go in and come out. And, we tell our players all the time that you're not going to shoot, 50% every night. And, on those nights that you do, that's great, and wins come a little easier. But you still have to get stops, and that's what we did. I think they shot maybe 18%, 17% the second half, something like that. So, if you're not shooting well, you can always play defense. And that's what we kind of stress to our players.
McMurray misses 22 of their last 24 shots. Is this really the best effort that your defense has put up this year?
I think so, especially with how they came out. I think they scored 11 points pretty quick on us. And, for them to kind of refocus and find that, defensive intensity and kind of keep that for the rest of the game, I think that was pretty impressive.
Bailey Whiff, her third consecutive game in double-figure scoring. Brianna Fuller is 2 of 3 in double-figure scoring. It seems to me that the offensive dynamic of this team has changed a little bit, because you're at the beginning of the year you're relying on Kathy and Raven and Carly and Puck to get those points, and those players are still very capable of getting those points for sure. But how does this expand your offensive power going forward now that Bailey and Brianna are playing very well?
Well, I think we've really got a pretty deep roster, and we play anywhere from 10 to 11 people every night, which is quite a bit for a college team. I mean, you look at some of those top tier teams, and they're playing 7, maybe 8, and so the good thing is any given night, there's one of 8 players that a team can maybe focus on. If Kathy came out and she's definitely a force to be reckoned with, and once she starts playing well and teams start focusing on her, somebody else is going to step up, and that's what's nice. Nobody knows who to take away.
Right. It's definitely a challenge if you're guarding Tarleton State for sure. Last question, Coach. We talked to Megan Odell on the other side of the break. Break down her play this year.
I think she's kind of battled a few injuries, and but she cares about this team, and she wants this team to succeed. She's come in and watched film with me a few times to try to fix the things that she's not done well, and we all trust her to take some, those big shots, and she's worked hard, really, really hard in the weight room to get stronger, and I think she's going to continue to get better and better.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll talk to you on the other side of Megan Odell. When we come back in 1 minute, we will talk to Texan junior guard Megan Odell. This is the Coach Misty Wilson radio show on the Tarleton Sports Network, presented by the North Texas Ford Dealers. And welcome back to First Financial Bank on the South Loop in Stephenville. This is the Coach Misty Wilson radio show, and I'm the voice of the Tarleton State Texans, Kelton Weens. I'd like to thank Domino's Pizza for providing the pizza today for our live studio audience. Studio bank lobby, same thing. I'm now joined by Texan junior guard Megan Odell. Welcome, Megan. It's great to have you here today. First, a big win against Eastern New Mexico on the road. Give us your thoughts on that game. You had 6 points, I believe.
I think we played really well. Bailey was definitely a huge factor for us in that game. I think they came within 8 or 9 toward the end in the second half, and Bailey went off again. So she was definitely huge for us in there.
You've been in this program for a while. You've been in the conference for a while. What does it take to win on the road in this conference?
Having the right mentality for sure. Going into every game thinking that we're playing the best team in the nation, and not taking anybody for granted. Last night you played McMurray. You did not score last night, but it was a
a tough game for the first 28 minutes, then you pulled away. Give us your thoughts on that one.
I kind of thought we had a bad mentality to begin with because we knew their record and stuff, and I don't think we took them as seriously as we should have. But second half, we turned that around and played better defensively, which helped a lot. I think they only shot 13% or something in the second half. So defense was definitely huge for us in the second half.
Tell me what it's like to play on the floor at Wisdom Gym. There's a lot of energy in the building. There's always a great crowd, and a lot of history there too. What's it like to step out on the floor to play a game?
The crowd is definitely huge for us because, I mean, you play better whenever you have a big crowd and everyone cheering you on and stuff. And the crowd normally gets bigger toward the end of the game because they like going to see the guys play too. But it definitely helps, especially in close games.
Talk about what, I'm always kind of curious as to what players' different pregame routines are. Do you have to put your shoes on a certain way or listen to a certain set of songs? What does Megan Odell have to do?
I'm not superstitious or anything. I don't really do anything special. The one thing that I can think of that I do every single game is during the national anthem, I'll pray, this pregame prayer. But that's really the only.
Is there somebody on the team who has a crazy pregame ritual?
Not that I know of. I don't think so.
Well, moving on, talk about your play this season. You're averaging 6 points, shooting 38% from three. It's a pretty good year for you, but Coach Wilson did say you're battling a few injuries.
Yeah, I have been. I had, still do, inflamed cartilage in my chest, and then been taking medicine for that. And as soon as that started feeling better, I got bronchitis, and then last night I hurt my knee. But it's been tough, but I try to ignore the pain, try to play through it and stuff, and haven't been playing as good as I want to, but that just means I have more to work on.
Megan, what is your best game at Tarleton?
I'd probably say this year against Lubbock Christian. I just felt like I played well in just about every area, and Coach Wilson even texted me after the game and thought that I played a solid game, so I'd have to say that was probably my best.
What about your worst?
Probably Kingsville this year. I don't know what was going on, but it seemed like every time I touched the ball, I turned it over, so it was definitely not a good game.
Well, what about memories? You went to Florida this year. Is that a big memory? Is that a great memory for you that you take forward?
Definitely. We went to Colorado my freshman year for the regional tournament, but other than that, outside of conference, we haven't really gone out of state. So going to Florida was definitely fun and definitely a good experience.
Who's your funniest teammate?
Tori. For sure.
Devontae Downs.
Yes, yeah. Tori.
Why is that?
She just, her attitude and she's always laughing, always smiling, always making jokes. So I'd definitely say she's the funniest.
What about your person that you look to for inspiration, either on this team or outside this team?
My brother, Josh. Definitely my inspiration.
Josh, he does play football at Hardin Simmons.
He did.
He did.
Doesn't anymore.
What did he play at Hardin Simmons?
He's a receiver.
Okay. Did you go to those games very often?
I did. I went to the home games because I still had basketball and stuff too. But I did go to the home games, and he's been a huge part of my basketball career too. Like always supporting me. He's my #1 fan. So. He's
one of your 4 brothers that you have. Are they older or younger?
3 older, 1 younger.
Goodness. So you really had to keep up with them, didn't you?
Oh yes, very competitive all the time.
So they certainly shaped you into being a very competitive person.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, you're from Tuscola?
Yes.
Which is by Abilene, right?
It's about 15 miles outside of Abilene.
For those of us like me that have never been to Tuscola, what's Tuscola like?
There's not much in Tuscola at all. We don't even have a stoplight anymore. We don't. We don't have like Dairy Queen or Subway or anything. You can literally drive through the town in about 15 seconds.
Wow.
It's very small.
Now, you're a standout basketball player at Gymnet High School. You ran track, but you also ran cross country, which I think is interesting because a lot of basketball players will be sprinters. They'll really work on that intermediate speed. But you did long distance. Why?
I started long distance in 6th grade. I'd actually get up really early and go run with the high schoolers. I just loved to run. I don't know why. It was weird. But I did love to run. And then whenever I was in 7th grade, our coach made it mandatory for us to run cross country to play basketball. Kind of, I guess, to get more people on the cross country team, really. But I did love it. And I don't know. I don't know why I loved it so much, but did.
Finally, Megan, you play at Texas A&M Commerce this weekend. That field house, talk about playing in what is basically an old aircraft bunker.
I've always thought it was tough to play there. I don't like the lighting in there. I don't like I mean, last time I played there might have been my worst game as a Texan. But yeah, it's definitely tough to play there, and they're a good, aggressive team. So.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, Megan. Good luck this season. We'll see you on Saturday.
Okay.
When we come back in 1 minute, it's time to preview the upcoming week in Texan basketball. This is the Coach Misty Wilson radio show on the Tarleton Sports Network, presented by the North Texas Ford Dealers. And welcome back to the Coach Misty Wilson radio show from the lobby of First Financial Bank right here in Stephenville. Please welcome me and join me in welcoming back the first-year head coach of the Tarleton Texans, Misty Wilson. Coach.
You're starting to sound like me, Kelton.
I appreciate that. Time now for us to run through the Lone Star Conference schedule from the last week. On Saturday, West Texas A&M beats Cameron 100-73 in Canyon. It's Midwestern State over Texas A&M Kingsville 66-53 in Kingsville, and Cameron over Angelo State 82-69 in San Angelo. Then on Sunday, West Texas A&M beats Texas Women's 82-65 in Canyon. And on Wednesday night, last night, Texas A&M Commerce goes into Denton and pulls off a big-time 73-61 overtime win over Texas Women's. Coach, Commerce in that game goes 25 of 74 from the field, and they don't make a single three-pointer on the night. They go 0 for 13 from three, and they still score 73 points. That really shows Commerce can hurt you in a lot of ways.
They can, and I don't know if you noticed, but they had 42 points in the paint, and that's quite a bit. Wow. I mean, over half of their points were in the paint. And, you know, when you allow teams to do that, you know, that's going to be tough to win. And
how big was that win for Commerce over Women's for you? Because that moves Women's below Tarleton State and Texas A&M Commerce in the conference standings.
Well, it's huge. And even just turning that program around, you know, they've struggled. And so, you know, Coach Burton seems to be doing a really good job of, you know, making them believe that they can win. And you know, that's a big part of it.
The current Lone Star Conference standings look like this. West Texas A&M is first in the conference at 6-1. Cameron also at 6-1 on the year. Midwestern State is third at 6-2. Tarleton State and Texas A&M Commerce are tied right now in 4-3 in the conference. Texas Women's, after losing 2 straight, is sixth at 5-4. Eastern New Mexico is at 2-5. Angelo State and Texas A&M Kingsville are both winless at 0-7. Coach, this weekend you head to Commerce for a game against the Lions of Texas A&M Commerce. They're 4-3 in the conference right now, and they're much improved over that 7-20 record from a year ago. What do they do particularly well?
They have some really good post players, extremely strong. They crash the boards very hard, and they can score, which is why they score 42 points in the paint. And you know, a lot of teams, and then their guards, they've kind of improved their guard play, and you know, their guards can get to the rim and score as well.
They have a blue floor at the field house in Commerce. Does that do anything mentally to you as a shooter? That's got to be weird to go from a tan floor to a blue floor.
Yeah, but if you're looking at the floor when you're shooting, you might not be a very good shooter anyway, so might try looking at the rim. But it is different. You know, we've seen it on film, you know, against watching them play and watching them play some of the people that we've played. And at first, all our girls were like, well, that's really weird, but now I think we're kind of used to it. So maybe we'll just keep looking at it on film and maybe get used to it.
Tough place to play, no doubt.
Definitely.
That game is scheduled at 4 p.m. from Commerce, with the National Farm Life pregame show starting at 3:45 right here on KTRL. Then on Sunday, you return home to play Texas Women's to start the second half of the conference schedule. And Coach, we've done back-to-back games before at Lubbock Christian and at Winter Park, Florida, but not one like this where you're on the road Saturday night and back at home Sunday afternoon, and you're one of the 2 teams in the conference, I think, that has to do this. That's a real big challenge for you.
It is challenging, and you know, we've talked all year about our depth and trying to get across to our girls that is going to come into play. If it's not early, it definitely will in the second half of the conference. And you know, that I don't think people realize how tough that is to do that, to play you know, at 4 o'clock and finish at 6, and then turn around and play in less than 24 hours. It's tough, but I think our girls are prepared for it. I know physically, you know, they'll be okay, and hopefully we can mix in some of our bench and let them kind of share that load.
I asked you about this earlier in the year when we played Texas Women's the first time, but what is the balance as you start the second half of conference play? You've seen everybody again. What is the balance of what you show teams to the first time you play them versus the second time that you play them? You know, what you hide, what you change up, things like that?
We don't really hide anything. We don't, try to do a bunch of trick plays. We just try to improve at doing what we do. And I think the best trick is that we didn't play very well against them the first time, so maybe we can trick them and turn around and play well. And that was our first game after the breaks, and that's always a tough game anyway. And so I think our girls are going to look a lot better this game. And they know what Texas Women's does. They know what they want to do, and I think we'll play better.
That game from Wisdom Gym is a pre-Super Bowl party. You can swing by, free admission for everyone coming into the game. That's a 2 o'clock tip-off time. The pregame show begins at 1:45, Coach. Then on Wednesday, you go to Wichita Falls, play Midwestern State again. Are you excited to play Midwestern again?
Always. I mean, you're just excited to play games.
Right.
Like I said last night, nothing rivals the feeling of a game, and you love to go against people like that. You love the rivalries that you have in the Lone Star Conference, and it excites our players. There'll probably be a big crowd there, and that's exciting to me. Whether you're the home team or the opponent, you've got something to play for.
The Coliseum in Wichita Falls is always a very difficult place to play, but you've won there before. What does it take to do that?
Perseverance.
Yeah,
The same thing I say every week, but you're going to have your ups and downs, and you've got to be mentally tough, and not allow that to dictate what you do for the next possession. You've got to be able to move on and go on to the next play.
That game from Wichita Falls begins at 5:30 with the pregame beginning at 5:15. Coach, we're going to take a 1-minute break right now, and when we return, it's time for giveaways for our live audience, announcements, and the final segment of the Coach Misty Wilson radio show. We'll be right back in 1 minute on the Tarleton Sports Network, presented by the North Texas.
First Financial Bank is proud to support the Coach Misty Wilson radio show for 125 years. First Financial Bank has operated in Texas and offered financial services to its customers. With 62 locations, including 2 full-service branches in Stephenville, First Financial Bank staff can be reached by calling 254-965-5036 or at www.ffin.com. First Financial Bank, a proud supporter of Tarleton Texans and Texans. Member FDIC.
For over 30 years, the Texan Club has been instrumental in giving Tarleton State University's student athletes and coaches the tools they need to be successful on the field, court, track, and in the classroom. Today, the Texan Club provides funding for athletic scholarships. The Texan Club is open to alumni, family, friends, and others who are proud supporters of the purple and white. For more information, call 254-968-9178 or visit tarletonsports.com/Texan Club. Go Texans and Texans.
You're listening to the Coach Misty Wilson radio show on the flagship station of the Tarleton Sports Network, 90.5 FM KTRL, Stephenville, Granbury, Fort Worth. Now let's send it back to the lobby of First Financial Bank and rejoin the voice of the Texans, Kelton Weens.
Welcome back to the Coach Misty Wilson radio show from First Financial Bank in Stephenville. I'm joined again by Tarleton Texan head coach Misty Wilson. Time for giveaways for our live audience here at the bank today. Give yourselves a round of applause. You've been a great audience here today. Our first name is Lee Smith. Lee, all right. Lee, go to Terry Hardcastle and we'll flip the card to see what he's won. And it's a pair of hats from First Financial Bank.
Go with the pink hat. Go with the pink hat, Lee.
You have to get the pink hat.
There you go.
Big thanks to Domino's Pizza for providing our lunch today. Hayden Frederick, the next winner.
All right, give him a pink shirt.
Yeah, he wishes. And he wins a Tarleton long sleeve shirt from First Financial Bank. And our final winner is Trevor Barchiers. Did I say that right? Trevor? Close enough. It's not the first name I've messed up in my time. And he wins a Tarleton basketball t-shirt. Well, congratulations to all of our winners at the Coach Misty Wilson radio show. I'd like to remind everyone the Coach Lon Reisman radio show is Fridays from 12 to 12:30 at Bruner Motors at the corner of Lillian and the South Loop. You can join the voice of the Tarleton Texans, Casey Hogan, on 90.5 KTRL or on tarletonsports.com/listen live. Also, from now until February 28th, fans can purchase tickets to the Lone Star Conference Tournament in Allen, March on March 4th through the 7th. All tournament passes are discounted right now. If you buy a session pass at the Tarleton ticket office, you can get a free Tarleton t-shirt. You can purchase them in person through February 28th at Wisdom Gym, or you can call 254-968-1832 through February 20th to buy with a credit card. Tarleton State Texans softball team gets their season underway with their first home opener since 2007 against Southwestern Oklahoma State. On Monday, February 2nd, starting at 3 p.m., and Tarleton Texan baseball starts their season from Minute Maid Park in Houston, the home of the Houston Astros, on February 5th against Winona State at 10 a.m. Coach, you a baseball and softball fan?
I'm a Tarleton baseball and softball fan. I'm not much of a baseball fan softball outside of Tarleton.
Again, the next broadcast of Texan basketball is this Saturday, January 31st in Commerce. Tip against the Lions is scheduled for 4 p.m. and the pregame show starting at 3:45. Coach, 2 questions to end. Your daughter Maya went with us to Eastern New Mexico. I imagine that she had a great time. Is she going with us to Commerce?
Well, they're going to be there, but they're not riding with us. They're coming with Grandma. So my mom was pretty excited. She kept saying, we're going to take a road trip. And so I kind of feel bad that their road trip ends at Commerce, but, whatever.
And Coach, finally, who do you have in the Super Bowl this weekend?
I got to go with the Seahawks just because I'm a defensive person, and they've got a pretty good defense.
They are. Very powerful on defense. What would it be like if a basketball had 2 pounds per square inch less air in it?
It wouldn't bounce very good. I know that, and it would definitely make a difference. But the difference in basketball is both teams play with the same ball. So.
Well, Coach, thank you very much for your time today, and we'll talk to you on Saturday. I'd like to thank everyone involved in this broadcast of Tarleton Athletics. Megan Odell for joining us earlier in the show, our producer back at the KTRL studio, Aaron Young, and our on-site engineer, Jody Lee Cottle from KWBY. Also, thanks go out to Nathan Burrell and Jeff Smith from the Tarleton Sports Information staff. And most of all, I want to thank every one of you for listening. And for the first-year head coach of the Texans, I'm Kelton Weens, and we will talk to you on Saturday evening from Commerce, Texas at 3:45. Thanks, and have a great day.